Yeah, I used to front when I write songs, talk about having ice on, and I could barely keep my lights on, and my beats were so sick, I should've got a medic, but my credit was so pathetic, I couldn't afford a debit. When the dropout dropped, I had to cop me a money tree, to front on anybody who ever try to front on me, with so much personality. What do you want from me? I could be